Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to session 3 of the What to Expect training series. As you hop on, just say hi in the chat box that's over to your right. And if you're watching the replay, thank you again for making time to kind of just learn and embrace yourself in this entire process. So again, as you're hopping on, just say hi in the chat box so I know who's here. Hello, hello. What's up, Carly and Gretchen? Victoria, hello. Thanks again, guys, for being here. I love doing these trainings for you and helping you learn. I've had amazing phone calls for the past, 3 weeks now. And you guys are just so, I'm just so humbled and grateful you are all here and just kind of getting this experience, right? So regardless of what happens, you're getting this experience of kind of digging in and realizing your why and what you want to create, which is so freaking cool. And I was just telling one of the girls today, there's never going to be a right time. You're never going to be fully ready, even though we think with little kids, we're oh, it's just, we're so overwhelmed. I hate to say it, but it gets even worse as they get older, right? They start activities and blah, blah, blah. And the worst possible thing that happens is all your kids go to school and then what? You just go, what the hell am I doing? Right? So why not now? Right? Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest because I think it's important. So we are here tonight and we are going to talk about the where of your online business. We're going to talk all about websites, social media, all of that stuff, as much as content as I could get in. So let's get started. All right, so where are we headed? I like to review this because I think it's super, super important as we go through the weeks. We are in this to create a passion-based business. So we are not in this to become millionaires overnight. We are in this to create a business based off passion, so something we actually love, to create something for you that you love, something that fulfills you and recharges you and excites you, to create a business that gives you freedom, of course, to become successful, whatever successful means to you, understand the systems to create a successful online business and to create a business beyond baby. And that just means that we've created a business as a mom, and it is so doable. I am proof that's doable. As I have been pregnant and having babies this entire time. So I am 100% proof that it is possible. So what do we already know? We know that a passion-based business recharges you, it excites you. We know your voice and message must be authentic, that you have to have an emotional lifestyle and service why to drive your business. You've got to have those deep whys because it does get tough. It's messy, it gets tough, and you have to have those whys to kind of propel you forward. We know the 3 P's of your business have to be purpose, your people, and your products. So that's super, super powerful. We know that content can come in many forms, but it must be consistent. We know the more you give away, we talked about this last week, the more they trust you. So we're getting out of that scarcity mindset into the abundance mindset of the more we give, the more they're going to trust you. Because remember, it's if this is your free stuff, imagine what your paid stuff is. Knowing what you stand for allows you to create content with your unique voice. So this was part of your homework from last week was 10 ways you provide value to people and 5 things that you stand for. And that's been super enlightening to see. And it was really hard for some of us, which is totally normal. A lot of this stuff is going to be hard, but knowing what you stand for and drawing that line in the sand can be super scary. Moving from consumer to creator, right? So we talked about this last week. We talked about getting rid of consuming all of this stuff, right? We talked about, we start our day just consuming all of this information. And then when it comes time to create, we either feel like it's already been said, or we don't have time, or we don't have the think space to actually create something to move our business forward. In order to write remarkable content, you have to think harder, right? And we talked a little bit about how we think harder, drawing a line in the sand, thinking laterally, debunking myths, using our experience. So remember, the bottom line, we know that we have to believe that we're ready. We have to show up ready before anybody else is going to believe that we're ready, right? So it's not up to our husbands, our friends, our neighbors. It's not up to anybody else to believe that we're going to do this unless we 100% believe that it's going to happen. We might not know how, we might be scared, we might have all these feelings, but we have to know that it's going to happen, because if we doubt that it's even going to happen, no one else is going to believe us anyway, right? Bottom line, at this point, you are an action taker. So you are here, you enrolled in this training, you're here, you're spending time, you're watching the replay, whatever it is, you're an action taker. You are devoted to making this happen because you're taking action, right? So there's something called the ready, aim syndrome. And basically what that says is that the majority of people are doing just this. They say they're ready and they're aiming, right? You get the hint, right? They just keep aiming and they're like, I don't know. And they just keep like, going around and around, and they never actually pull the trigger. So rather than just being ready, aim, I need you guys to pull the trigger. So I'm going to ask you to do a few things tonight that are going to help you kind of pull the trigger, but that's what this training is about, is to get you to do that homework, write things down, put it out in the open so that you're not stuck in this aim thing, right? So really quick in the chat box, I want you to write down one thing besides doing this training that you have done to take action for doing this business thing. What is one thing that you've done to take action that, kind of shows yourself that you are not just going to aim. You're actually ready to pull the trigger. So one thing you've done that kind of tells yourself, tells us, tells everyone that you are an action taker. One thing in the chat box, just jot it in really quick. Nice. Reaching out to fabric posts and showing them my artwork, very cool. Posting more on my business page, very cool. WordPress site, awesome. Emailed my friends, very cool. Home space, nice. Very cool. Nice, good job, Erin. I love it. Cool, awesome. So tons of action. That's what I like to see. That's what it's about. So in this training tonight, we are going to talk about where you need to be on social media, where your efforts need to be focused on building a successful online business, like where you need to be to build it, how to make content creation in the right places easy and effortless, because we know that can be completely a drain, especially when we're, looking at time, how to streamline your content so you're not getting super overwhelmed, and how to manage your expectations in this process. Because that's really something that will get us down a lot, is this expectation. So let's talk about it. Expectations, right? Where should I be? What should it look like? How is it supposed to be? All this mindset stuff, right? We keep asking ourselves, we keep putting these false expectations on ourselves of where we should be, what it should look like, how many subscribers we should have, how many likes we should have. And then what? We get into this total mind game of ourselves that we're not going fast enough, we have like not good enough, comparison, all that stuff comes out. We're going to talk a lot more about mindset next week, but just remember, like, expectations, you've got to start. First thing, you got to start. Who was my first reader? My mom. Like, who were the first people who paid me? Friends and family. And so like I started small. Like, what was my first thing? I started a group coaching on Facebook. No bells and whistles, like literally like just threw stuff into Facebook and people paid me for it. And I was like, oh my God, people are paying me $10. That's amazing. And now, like, it's grown. It obviously does grow, but just having that expectation management of where is it going to start? It has to start. Action, taking action, doing something for your business is always going to be better than just sitting there wishing you started or trying to make it perfect, right? Because it's never going to be perfect. So again, where should I be? What should it look like? How fast should it happen? It's going to be in a different place, right? So this is a complete process. And honestly, it doesn't really matter. None of that stuff matters because action, doing stuff trumps all of that stuff. The people who are doing are going to be there, if we say there is a place, much faster than anybody who's sitting on the sidelines. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter, right? So let's talk about the trust business. We know we are in the trust business. We know we're a personality. We know our business is our brand. We know we are gaining the know, like, and trust factor. So we are not in the numbers business. It's not about how many likes we have. It's not about how many Instagram followers we have. It's about building trust, right? So that's what matters most. You can't speed up trust. You can't make trust happen in a month or 2 months. It takes time. It takes consistency, showing up and being authentic, like we've talked about, right? So there's something from Stephen Kelly, and it's called 1,000 True Fans. And basically it says that you have a viable business if you have 1,000 true fans, which makes it seem a little bit less daunting for a lot of us starting out, that like oh, 1,000 true fans, like that sounds a lot more doable than like having 21 million whatever likes. Half of these people don't even have a damn business, right? But we see that, and it's so easy to get comparison and thinking, oh my gosh, they're so much farther ahead and blah, blah, blah. You can't compare your first year of business to someone's third year of business or fourth year of business or whatever. So just keep that in mind, that we are in the trust business, and trust takes time. We don't get to skip steps. That's not what we're in this for. We're in this to start from the foundation and build a viable business the right way. So we're in it to talk about, you know, our passion, our goals, money, how to create a product, how to make a sales page. Like, we're going to go step by step. We're not in this to just hurry up and like throw something out into the space, hoping people buy it and then getting pissed off when they don't, right? So we are talking about how are we going to do this the correct way from the foundation. We don't get to skip steps. That's not what we're in here to do. So where the hell are you supposed to be for your business? I mean, especially nowadays, anybody else overwhelmed with like the amount of places you need to be? It seems like every month there's something new. There's Snapchat, there's Twitter, there's Insta stories, there's, you know, the normal Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Like, there's a million places that you need to be. And if we let it, it overwhelms us. And then pretty much we're nowhere, because we end up being somewhere one day and then not again for another week and blah, blah, blah. So we're not really showing up anywhere. And it's a misconception that we need to be everywhere. So this is kind of what I consider more of like the fourth step that everybody stresses about, because it's the part we see. So we see the numbers and we think, oh my gosh, like they just must be crushing, when really that's not true at all. So it's a lot of times what people start. So maybe they start a Facebook business page and then they wonder why no one's buying anything. Well, because that's not kind of the first thing we do, right? So super, super important to know this stuff. And so I want you to take a step back and just remember that this part, yes, is super important, but the foundation piece, the goals, the passion, the time management, all that stuff happens first. Then we show up into our business. So where the hell do we need to be? So I'm going to give you your top 3 places that you need to be for your business. So we've got your website, email marketing, and social media. Remember, this is not a numbers game. So we're going to talk about social media because social media is super overwhelming. But I just want you to remember, write this down, do whatever you need to do to remember that this is not about having the best of any of this. This is about doing it consistently and knowing how to do it, but it's not about having a website that does, you know, all of these different things. That's absolutely what it's not about. I know people who have amazing websites that they had people build and spent thousands of dollars on that haven't made a damn dime, right? So that's not what it's about. But it is important to remember that our website is our house. So it is the home of our brand. So we have to have a website. It's absolutely important. And it needs to look good, but we don't need to pay it out. It's definitely something that you can build, which is how I teach you to do it. I want you to write this down now. You're going to go to GoDaddy.com and you're going to buy a domain name. I would prefer that you buy your name first. And then if you have a business name that you like, you can buy that too. But you definitely want to have your name if it's available. That's something that you're going to do. If you don't have that already, you're going to buy your domain name. That makes it real. You're going to grab it. So you, as far as like logos and design and all that stuff, we'll get into all of that. But if you have someone that you know, if you want to start thinking about what you want it to be and what you want it to look like, you can totally do that. Again, this is all stuff you can do. You don't need to be hiring out all of this stuff, especially in your first year of business. There are things you're going to pay for, but things like a website, you are definitely not going to pay for, because that is a lot of money, and you can totally build a website on your own. So I want you to think about this really quick, and this is going to be part of your homework. I want you to think of 5 people in your industry that you're looking to build your online business in, or maybe you're already in. I want you to think of 5 people who you admire and think of why you admire them. So that's part of your homework. You're going to think of 5 people in your space, in your industry, or just in the online space that you admire, their message, their branding, their voice, whatever it is. And I want you to write down their names, and I want you to write why they inspire you. Okay. So from the website, I just want you to do that. So remember, it's not about the bells and whistles. It's not about all the functionality of it. what does it need to have? So it needs to have an about who you are. It needs to have your core values and mission, which is something we kind of already touched about as far as like the 5 things you stand for. It needs to have a way to contact you, how to work with you, track. So if you want to come off as like sporty, professional, mom, like you got to have that vibe. Of course, consistent content, an email opt-in has to be on the website, and social media links that actually work need to be there as well. So the work with you, you might not have that yet, but all of you, all my people in Business Beyond Baby have a PayPal button on within the first couple of months. Even if it's just for phone consults, we have that stuff up there because it's scary to put a buy button up, but it's pretty exciting when someone actually presses it, right? And they're paying you. What it doesn't need is to be hired out, because none of that stuff really matters. Like the bells and whistles, I promise you, it doesn't matter. Yes, it needs to look good, but for the first few years, however long, it really doesn't need to be too much. Again, we don't want to put too much on there at one time. We want to avoid broken links and old content, right? So this is not about having the fanciest whatever website. It's about having the basics, but also a way for people to get to know you, work with you, contact you, and above all else, get on your email list, right? So your website is going to have blogs on it. So blogging is not going to be like the only thing you do, but you are going to have blogs on there so people can get to know you, because people, when they read a good blog that they like, they're going to be like, how can I work with this girl? Like, how can I get more of her, right? That's what blogs do. So blogs enable us to kind of get our message out there even more. And they're, very shareable on social media and all of that stuff. So blog do's and don'ts. So we're going to blog according to your core values. So you're going to blog your experiences. You're going to share your story. You're going to talk about your ideal client struggles. And I'm going to tell you how to figure that out in just a second. You're going to solve problems for people. So all of your blogs should be providing value to your ideal client's problems. And if we don't know what those are, that's our first step, right? We have to know who we're talking to before we can write a kick-ass blog. Because so many of us want to get on a blog and we want to give like the top 3 reasons to do whatever. That's really great, but everyone's going to just sleep through that. That's not what we call like an epic blog post. It's great. It's valuable content. I'm not saying you can't do that, but as far as people like connecting with you and being like, oh my gosh, me too, I love this girl, the top 3 ways to do whatever are not going to be it. And a lot of times we get in that expert mode and we want to like share all of our knowledge, which is great. It's just how we do it. And so we do a copy course in Business Beyond Baby. We're actually like rip apart all of your copy, but it's super helpful to kind of get you in the flow of that. And above all else, we have to stay real and authentic. That is super, super important. What do we don't want to do? We don't rant, right? We don't get on and just start ranting over stuff. We don't talk to them. So it's not about, when we say the word you in content, it makes it talking to them and at them. People don't like that. They don't want to be preached at. They want to feel like you get them. They want to know that you get them. And how else do you do that? By saying we, us, make it about all of you, because you are part of them, right? If they're struggling with weight loss and you're up here with a 6-pack talking to them about why they shouldn't do blank, blank, and blank, they're going to be like, I don't even know, who is this person? You got to get them. You got to get down with them, get into their struggles, because remember, you've been there at some point. You get it. You understand their struggles. Don't blog on things you're not passionate about. I mean, it just comes across in the words. Like they're like, why did you even write this, right? And don't blog your dirty laundry in real time. So if you're going through like a big struggle or a health crisis or whatever, try not to blog about it until it's kind of after and you've seen the insight, you have the aha, you have the teachable to kind of turn it around. And this goes for social media as well. So if you're having like, I mean, mom life, like we have shitty days, you can get on and talk about that. But like if you have something real, like when Trent had cancer, like I didn't talk about it for a while. I wasn't ready. I didn't really have an answer. I didn't have a way to turn it around. I felt like I was just going to get on and have like a sob story. So I really didn't say much, and I never really had to, but I did feel like I wanted to talk about it because it really related to a lot of the content I was talking about. So I did get on, but it was after the fact, like after we knew he wasn't going to need chemo and stuff like that. So that's just an example. If you guys were on the Zoom, one of the homework things I asked you to do was to list 10 struggles that you have had, and then 10 struggles that women that you know, friends, people at the gym, people at work, whatever, are having. And then next to those, you're going to write a solution, your solution. So if someone says, like lose the last 10 pounds, what would you tell them to do? If someone says, you know, scared of the gym, what would you tell them? So you're listing 10 struggles of yours and then 10 struggles of, and you're writing your solution next to them. That's a blog right there. Like that's a blog, that's a piece of content. Yes? Are we good? Everyone with me? Just type yes if you're with me. Did anybody that was on the Zoom do that struggles list of the top 10 struggles? And let me know if you did it and what you thought. Cool. Okay, good. Anybody do the Zoom homework that we talked about on the Zoom? If anybody was on the Zoom, I think a couple of you were. Cool. All right. Yes, yes, yes. Everyone's with me. Good stuff. So blogging is not scary, right? And this can be a video, this can be like a vlog, it can be written. There's a million ways we can do it. I say blog because it kind of goes on your website as a home piece of that. But I say blog, but it doesn't have to be blog. It can be a video. There's lots of different ways to put it, but this is kind of the do's and the don'ts of that stuff. Cool. So your content is remarkable and epic if it establishes credibility, if it lets your personality shine, draws a line in the sand, which is super scary at the beginning, makes people feel inspired, offers practical tips and tools, is shareable, and is relevant. So on that, you know, the tips and the tools, like absolutely you want to be able to give tips and tools, but you don't want that to be every post or every blog. Like every blog should not be like my top 10 tips for doing blah, 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 because that's just like snooze fest. Like people are like, okay, I've read this like a million times. So we've got to have more of your personality in there, more of your story. We need to inspire people to do stuff. You could totally have your tips and tools in your blog posts, but we don't want every blog post to come from that angle, if that makes sense. You know, if that makes sense. And if writing blogs scares the shit out of you, totally fine. It gets better. I promise. I look at my blogs from my first year and I'm like, oh my God, like what was I even doing? I don't even know what I was saying. I had no idea who I was talking to. I was just writing because I just didn't know what else to do. I was like, I think I'm supposed to write blogs. Like, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. So I did it. No one signed up for my email. I didn't even have an email list. No one like shared it. I don't know that it had any likes from Facebook. I had no idea what I was doing, but I did do it. And there's something to be said about it because I've gotten a lot better, right? I look at those blogs and I'm like, wow, that was really bad. I don't delete them, but it's enabled me to see like how far we've come. So there's something to be said about actually just doing it and owning your expertise and your authority and just being like, this is what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna get so much better. All right, email marketing. So this is kind of the second place where you've got to be. Actually, it's like almost more important than your website, but you've got to have a website to have email marketing. So email marketing is you sign up through an email marketing service provider. So I use Aweber, and that's what I have all my girls use. It's kind of the best bang for the buck as far as what you can do with it. There are free options, but there's a lot of limitations to it, and email marketing is pretty much your best friend. It's like paper money, ultimately. So why the hell do you need email marketing? Like, what's the point? It is the #1 sales tool for your business. It builds trust and communication because it creates a relationship and it builds the tribe. So these people are getting kind of the inside to your voice. My whole email list knows Sydney and Kai and my pregnancy, and they knew about Trent before I talked publicly. Like, they know all my stuff. They see the inside, right? They see the inside. It's like they're getting the play-by-play of your world. You're not telling them like, okay, like today I woke up and did this, but you're always giving them like an inside. You're giving them value, but it's kind of more the inside than like your other people will get. You write emails very differently than you write blogs. Blogs, are a little bit more, there's a different layout for a blog than there is an email. And that's just because your email people, they already know you, like you, and trust you. They want to hear from you. They gave you their email. And so the goal of email marketing is to get as many people off of social media onto your list, because you never lose your email list, right? If people tell me they have a business, they don't have an email list, they don't have a business. Because you can be on social media, but you're not going to sell as much off social media. You sell from your email list. But if that takes time too, we have to nurture them. We have to write to them. We have to kind of build that relationship and tribe, right? So people give you their email and we have to respect that. So We are going to give them something for free. So we talked about, we're going to give them a lead magnet. We're going to give them something for free, a PDF, a checklist, something like that. We're going to give them for free for their email. That's going to give them value. And then we're going to nurture them with emails. And we're going to email them weekly. And we're going to just talk to them. We're going to talk to them about struggles. We're going to figure out, like, kind of, once we know who we're talking to, this stuff comes easy. One of the things that you're going to do when you're email marketing, your first follow-up message. So they sign up for your free guide to sleeping better, and they enter their name in their email. Your email marketing shoots out the free guide to sleeping better. And in that first email, you're going to write a follow-up email, and you're going to tell them, like, thank you so much for grabbing this guide. I'm so excited you're here, blah, blah, blah. 2 things I need you to do. Number 1, I want you to reply back right now and tell me what your number 1 struggle is. And number 2, I want you to sit back and enjoy the content, because we want to remind them they signed up for my email list, and I'm not just going to, like, be spamming their inbox. But you're going to ask them what their number 1 struggle is, and you're going to get tons of responses. You're going to get no time and blah, you know, like I get no time probably every single day. And then I get healthy meals and I get whatever. And so that's going to kind of build, it's going to build like your struggle bank, right? So you're going to take all those responses, you're going to write them down or put them in a Google Doc, so that when you're like, I don't know what to write about, I don't have anything to write about, I have nothing to say, you're going to look at that for some more inspiration, if that makes sense. You're going to hear their struggles from your people, just another way of kind of getting to know them more, right? How to use email marketing for your business. So again, we attract leads meaning people who are interested in your stuff. So you hear a lot about like Facebook ads and stuff like that, and that's all great. But Mark, the guy from Facebook, he basically just wants all of your money. So we have to know who we're talking to. We have to know how to create a lead magnet. We have to know all of the stuff before we start running Facebook ads. So Facebook ads are really great, but they're also going out to cold traffic. Cold traffic means these are people who have never heard of you. So we want to try to go to the warm people first who know us, who are interested in our stuff, and they sign up. So then we give them insights, we give value, we segment our lists from email marketing for those who are interested in like a particular topic or program. So like I have a list for like health and fitness, and I have a list for breastfeeding, and I have a list for business. So that's kind of what email marketing allows you to do. It allows you to have kind of segment your people so that you have people who are super interested in essential oils. And then you have people who are super interested in, you know, postpartum or whatever. And so it makes it a little bit clearer in your head when you're emailing, you know, certain people. So if I'm going to email about business, I'm not going to email my breastfeeding guide, right? Because those people aren't interested in business. They're interested in breastfeeding. So I'm not going to email them about the What to Expect training series. Yes, does that make sense? Again, you're going to get their number 1 struggle in that first follow-up email. The bottom line to email marketing is it's automated, guys. Like you can go write emails and schedule them to go out, and it's automated. So if you're going to go on vacation, or you want to take the weekend off or whatever, and you want to send an email, you can write it when you're feeling inspired. So you can have like one day that you write all of your emails, and then you can schedule them to go out. So it's amazing, right? It automates your business, which is perfect because it takes less time. On the lead magnet stuff, like we'll cover all about like how to create a lead magnet and all that stuff, but just know a lead magnet is something very simple. It's a PDF, it's a checklist, it's something super easy to digest that is related to your struggle. So what is something that everybody's struggling with, and then we're going to create something to help them, and we're going to put that on the sidebar of your website, and then we're going to promote that in other ways as well. But just know, kind of start thinking about like, what could I help people, like what could I help people with? Like right now, I bet all of you, if you could open up a Google Doc, you could type out a PDF right now to help solve one problem. Like you could probably all get a lead magnet done right now. Yes? Of course you could. So, but what about if you send too many emails? Like anybody else have this issue? You're like, oh my God, I don't know if I should send emails because it's probably annoying to people. And like, what if I do annoy them? Like, what if they unsubscribe, or what if they get mad? Anybody else have this issue where you feel like, I don't know about this whole email marketing thing because I think people probably send too many emails and I don't want to annoy them, and I'm scared they're going to like unsubscribe and they're going to leave my list? Anybody else have you thought about that when you're like, when I'm telling you email people, you're like, I don't know about that. Like, I think probably I'm just going to like annoy them, right? Which is so true, because then like that's a mindset issue. Here's why it's a mindset issue. Because first of all, you're giving value. And anytime you're giving value, you kind of have to give value. Like, you're kind of doing a disservice. Like, if you have something to share with me this week that's going to help me have a better week, then why shouldn't you send it, right? That's a mindset issue. Also comes from a place of like the scarcity mindset. So if someone leaves your list because they don't like what you said, like, that's awesome. That's like a perfect filtering system, right? That just shows that your content is attracting the perfect people. So if someone unsubscribes, it's kind of like, bye, right? The first time you're like, oh my God, what did I say? What did I do? Like, how can I change it? But then you're like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like, if they're not getting what I'm saying, and I'm not really for them, they're not for me, they're gonna find someone who is, and it's gonna be amazing. That's why there's so much space in the online world for all of you to create your business, right? Also, like, open rates for emails are like 25%. So if I have a list of 5,000 people, only 25% of people are opening that, right? And so how do I know people are getting them? So the more I send, the more they're gonna get. Everyone's not gonna open. Okay, so maybe my mom is gonna open all of my emails, and my aunt, who replies to every single email that I write out. Okay, don't tell anyone, but she does. And so other than that, like, some people are like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna open that, or they get busy and they don't. It's fine. I always say to all of my girls, if all of your people don't know what you're doing, like if all of my people don't know that Business Beyond Baby is opening soon, then I haven't done a good job. I need everybody to know, because I guarantee you, if I email my people right now and be like, do you know what the What to Expect training series is? They're gonna be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. Why? Because they haven't read my last 2 emails, right? So people just don't read them. So we need to be, and I know it's so scary because you're like, oh my God, like, if they don't want to read it, they're not going to read it. And if they don't like it, they're going to leave. That's the beauty of the online space. They're not trapped, right? They don't have to stay. They can totally leave, and that's perfect because you really don't need them. But most people don't see your emails anyway. And bottom line, if you're creating value, then you kind of have to be in their inbox. Yes? Are we there? Can I get an amen on that? Because if you're giving value, you have to be in their inbox. Are we good? Good, good, good. And hopefully, like, you'll have your aunt and your mom and like random people on your list who think they need to respond to everyone. Like, I don't know if any of you guys are in my smoothie challenge group. Like, it's been kind of quiet in the Facebook group this time, whatever. So I sent them in like this email, and I was like, okay, we have a problem. Like, no one's responding. Like, everybody responded back like how sorry they were. That's not really what I wanted. Like, I didn't want like people to like feel really bad, but like I was kind of like, where the hell is everybody? Like, I'm giving you all this free shit and no one's responding. So I was like, we have a problem. Like, no one's responding. This is an issue, blah, blah, blah. And like, I got flood of emails back. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've been so busy. And like, I feel bad, but like, it was kind of funny because had I not said that, like, no one would respond. I don't even know if they're reading them, but I did. I made it like bold. And I was like, you have to write back right now because I'm getting pissed. I wasn't really, but I was kind of like, we need to step up the game here because I don't play this whole quiet game. So anyway, it's a funny story. Email marketing is amazing. You really get to know your people and they get to know you, which is kind of the perfect system. Remember that you either win or learn, you never fail. Like, there is no such thing as failing when you start. Failing would be not doing it. Why? Because you're going to remain in the same place, right? So failing is actually not doing it. Doing it, you either win or you learn. You are going to fall down. You are going to fail, have failures or setbacks, whatever you want to call them, but they're never going to be a failure because you're always going to go, wait, how could I have done that differently? Or, oh my God, I just got people paying me. That's amazing. How can I make this bigger and better? It's always going to be your question. It's always going to be, okay, what's next? What's next? You know, like, I just had one of my girls go through her second launch for her online coaching group. And it was like, okay, it was better. It was better. But then it was, what's next? What's next? What are we doing now? We're doing a webinar. Okay, good. What's next? So it's always going to be pushing you to do better, to always win and always learn. We never fail. So we could have a launch where we have 0 subscribers, totally fine. What are we going to tweak? How are we going to come back better and stronger? That's always the case. Remember, no one who wins takes it easy. No one who wins gets there by not failing. Just remember that. It's so powerful. It's all mindset. It's all in our head, but it's super important to remember. All right, social media. Give me a yes if social media overwhelms you. If the thought of having to be everywhere overwhelms you and freaks you out just a teeny bit when you think about your online business. Social media, where is it? Does it freak you out? Does it stress you out? Does it overwhelm you? cool. So a little, a yes, a little, okay, cool. So a lot of us are already on social media, and so we're pretty good there. Like, I know I follow a lot of you guys on social media. I see you on there, so that's perfect. Like, you're already there. But we also need to know how to make social media work for our business, because that's a very different thing than just being on social media showing our cute kids, which is awesome. But like, and that can be there. We have to know like how to use social media for our business. So I want you to pick 1 or 2 platforms and run with them. The thing with Twitter, Erin, I'll just answer your question really quick. Twitter is not the place to be for our people. So basically what that means is that Twitter is kind of its own entity. Twitter is where you establish yourself as an expert in the space. So that's where you network with people. That's where you meet people. That's where you get, you share your blogs and stuff, but that's where you come out as kind of the expert in your space with your thoughts, not really where you meet clients, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the difference in Twitter. So Twitter is something that we all need to do to become that expert in our space. It's not something that I would recommend anybody doing in the first 6 months of business, but it's definitely something that needs to be done after. But we definitely need to establish ourselves on social media in the other platforms. So I want you to think of 1 to 2 platforms, and then I want you to, this is part of your homework, you are going to write down 3 to 5 quirks about you. So these are like knowables. These are things that you want everybody to know about you that you're going to kind of play up on social media. So maybe you love coffee. Maybe you like to lift heavy shit. Maybe you always wear lipstick. Maybe you like wine. Maybe you like salads. I don't know. It could be anything. So I want you to think, you're going to take some time to think about 3 to 5 quirks or knowables that you want people to know that you're going to play up on social media. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's part of your homework. So again, remember, social media is super powerful for us because we're in the personality business, right? So it's not about having thousands of followers. I want quality followers. I don't care if you have 100 followers on Instagram, 2,000 or 10,000. I need quality people. I mean, most of the people who have 10,000 and above followers on Instagram, they're all 13-year-olds or people from other countries who aren't really interested in what they're doing. We don't care about that. That's not what we need. So don't look at numbers and think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there and blah, blah, blah. So, and I'm going to teach you how to grow your social medias, but for right now, I want you to think of, pick your top 2. Facebook is kind of a non-negotiable. Instagram kind of is too. So hopefully you like those too. Things like Snapchat, Insta Stories, Pinterest, they can be used depending on your business, right? So we'll talk more about that. But I'm going to give you 6 important things to kind of remember for social media across the board, wherever you choose to be. The posts must be native to the platform. So your Facebook post is not going to be your Snapchat post. Yes, the content can be the same, but the way you word it, the way you format it has to be different. Cross-posting is lazy, okay? When I see people post on their Facebook page directly from Instagram with all the hashtags, that's lazy. That's super lazy, guys. When we're talking to Instagram, it's a very different talk than when we're talking to Facebook. So yes, the content can be the same. The ideas can be the same. The pictures can even be the same. But what we say around it has to be a little bit different, right? So it has to be native to the platform. Just like Snapchat, it has nothing to do with what we're going to post on Facebook. It's a very different day-to-day life kind of platform versus Facebook that we would use for business, okay? Pick 1 to 2 that you can be consistent with. Again, you've got to know where your people are hanging out, right? So that's super important to know. And we'll know that once we get into your ideal client and your avatar and all that stuff. We have to know where your people are hanging out. And then we're going to pick 1 to 2 to be consistent with, get good at, and then we will add on and layer. Talk about what people are talking about. So you've got to be timely and relevant, insight-based, super sticky. So we're going to talk more about sticky posts. But how do we know what people are talking about? We ask them, right? We get on the phone with them. We talk about them, via email marketing when they're giving us their #1 struggle. We know what they're talking about. I'm in the mom space and I know what moms are talking about because I am a mom and I talk to moms and I have a coaching club and I hear what they're talking about. So I talk about what people are talking about. But when we know our ideal client, it's super easy to talk about that stuff. It's relevant, it's timely. But even things that are happening in the world, like with the alligator. Remember when the little boy got eaten by the alligator? that was very timely. And if I didn't come out with a post about it that day, then it really wasn't going to mean anything, right? So I remember I wrote a post about like people throwing stones in a glass house or whatever. It got amazing feedback. But the point is that was a timely post. That was something that was relevant right then. And it kind of like had to get out then. Not all posts are like that, but if something big is happening in the world or in your space or whatever, then you got to post that stuff, and it's got to be timely and relevant. Again, what people are talking about. So that's just another tip to think about. Niche content. So how you help people. We got to know your superpower solution that we talked about last week, your unique ability. What is it that you do? So that niche content is going to be scattered into your social media content. So you'll see like every now and then, I'll talk about business. I'll talk about building a business beyond baby. I'll talk about being a mompreneur. Not every post is that, because that gets a little overwhelming, but I will definitely sprinkle that stuff in. I will definitely sprinkle in my knowledge of fitness and hormones and stuff like that. So we're going to put that niche content in, but we're going to do it in a way that tells a story. We are always telling a story. Social media is a story. People want to know. They want to know you. They want to know about you. So we talked about those 3 to 5 quirks. That stuff is going to be played up in your social media because that's what people relate to. And remember, people don't buy coaching, they buy coaches. So it's just putting a spin on your niche content. Add value, educate, and give. Remember, we can't create raving fans until we give. We've got to give it all away until we can even have, just like Gary Vee said, have the audacity to even ask. And so we add value, we educate them on stuff, not from the preachy like expert, but we educate them through our stories and our experiences. And then we give tons away. And finally, the work-life integration. So I'm all about not trying to separate work and life and keeping them together and integrating them. So I did like all of my, my pregnancy and my postpartum, and I'm all about my people knowing about my life. I think that's super important. I need them to know that I'm not just like this person on a step stool. Like I'm just right there with them. I had an eating disorder. I did blank. Like they need to know that stuff. Why? Because it shows them I'm real, but also shows I get them. So yes, I have knowledge. I have certifications. I have blank. But I'm an expert because I've been there and I get it and I understand. And remember, people don't care how much I know until they know that I care. So I think it's super important to kind of integrate the two. Does that mean that my life is on social media? No, but I definitely pick and choose what I put. But I definitely think it's important as a mom to integrate the two. Do I get nervous about sharing pictures? No, I do not. I am not scared of that at all. I know there are people who are, and if that is you, like you totally don't need to share pictures of you. But no, I don't. I'm just not nervous about it. Like I think it's pretty cool that my kids are on social media, and I don't know. I just think it's cool. So, yeah, there's always going to be that story that scares us. But for me, no, I think it's part of my business, and I've made them part of my business, and people love it and I love it. I think it's great. So I wouldn't try to separate the two. Does that mean you need to have a picture of your kid like on your belly? No, but I do think it's important to kind of integrate the two, however it feels good to you. At the end of the day, it's gotta feel good to you, right? So remember, no great thing is suddenly created. The 3 things we need are patience, practice, and consistency. So when we talk about where we're showing up, that's a lot of information I just gave you. I mean, a website, email marketing, social media, that's a lot of moving factors to your business. And it takes a lot of time to kind of build those things. You don't just put up a website and have 500 subscribers. You don't just create a lead magnet, put it on the sidebar, and just have 1,000 people raving over it. It doesn't happen overnight. None of these things happen overnight, but it's what's needed to create that great thing, right? So it's needed to create that viable business, that 1,000 true fans that we talked about. These 3 things are absolutely crucial to creating a business that's profitable, that's successful, that gives you the freedom and all the things that you want from your business, right? So remember, it's easy to dream. It's easy to be like, oh my God, I want a business. And then when you think about, oh my God, but I've got to do blank, and blank. And that's where the hard part gets in. That's the hard stuff. That's the execution. That's when it separates the people who are going to do it to the people who are just going to say they're going to do it, right? That's what separates the mompreneurs who make it, because this shit is hard and working at home is hard with kids and blah, 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 right? but it's never going to get easier. I know we think, well, when the kids go, go to school, it's going to be easier. It's not, because then they're going to have activities, and then you're going to have blank. It's never ending. Being a mom is never ending. So it's something that if you want to do, we got to start. We have to be consistent, and we have to show up with patience and practice and all of that stuff. Yes? Are we good? So remember, I'm doing calls for the next couple of weeks for just to talk business. And then, of course, you'll know that Business Beyond Baby will open the 9th for applications, and those will be due the 18th. So you'll have 9 days to fill them out and turn them around to me if you are applying. And I'm capping it. So just make sure, if you are interested, I would just suggest you book a call. I've had over 30 calls already from women who are interested, and I am capping it. So if you are interested, you want to call with me, because the application, yes, it's for me, but it's also for you. So I like to make sure that the people I choose are people who I want to work with just as much as you want in. I want to make sure you're a good fit for the program, but also that you're that person that I'm looking for, that positive, you're a go-getter, you're an action taker. That stuff is super important to me for the culture of Business Beyond Baby, because it is a group, and it is a support, and it is a mastermind, and I need those women who are in it. And that's the kind of person I'm looking for. So I highly recommend you book that if you haven't already and you are interested. Homework, let's go over your homework. So you are going to grab your domain name from GoDaddy. So if you have not already, you are going to grab your first and last name, or your first and middle name, or whatever feels good to you. If you know your business name, you can do that too, but you're going to grab your domain name. You're going to list 5 people in the online space that you admire and why. And you are going to write down your 3 to 5 quirks or knowables that you want to play up and have people to know about you. So remember, that can be something super simple as like you always have red lip gloss or whatever. Just make sure you have those written down. So you have 3 things for your homework: domain, 5 people in the industry, and your 3 to 5 quirks or knowables. Yes, are we good? No, Melissa, you're good. I have you already. You're good. Questions. Where are we? Are we good? Are we overwhelmed? Are we freaking out? What's up? Talk to me. Questions, concerns, anything you need. What do we have? Aaron, 3.5 years into business, you are? Yes, then you should definitely look into Twitter. If you need help, get a phone call with me. But yes, if you're in business 3.5 years, you absolutely. So you're in business longer than I am. That's cool. Okay, cool. More overwhelmed than before, but I think I just need to process. Yes, it's a lot. This one I knew was going to be a lot, because it's a lot of moving parts that a lot of us don't know yet. Like when I see email marketing, you're like, oh my God, I don't even know what she's freaking talking about. But here's the thing. I need you to know this stuff, because I feel like sometimes we think we just need a website, and we're like, I'm just going to have a viable business. And I'm like, no, we have so much to do. Everyone's had a call. I'm like, okay, we have got to do this and this and this and this. And it's kind of overwhelming. But then again, it's like, okay, it just shows you that we need to do this, and we need a system, and we need to get through this methodically, right? So yeah, you're going to be overwhelmed. It's an overwhelming process because it's scary. It's new. It's something we haven't done, but it's so freaking awesome, guys. It's so cool to create something. So cool. Let me see. Yeah, you're good. Latoria, you are awesome. November 1st is perfect. Melissa, I'm not sure how this will fit into my business. Can you elaborate on that? What you mean? What will fit in your business? Every single business, whether you're a brick and mortar or any kind of business, needs all 3 of these things. That's why I picked these 3 things, because they are absolutely crucial to any business you are running. Any business you are running needs a website, an email marketing system, and social media. Any business. So elaborate on that, Melissa, and that will help me. Yes, Saturday dawn. We are on. Saturday, you are my Saturday date. I sell clothes and art. Okay, cool. Still need all of that stuff. Because remember, guys, if we don't have people's email, then we don't really have them, right? Because your website could crash tomorrow, social media could go away tomorrow. Your emails are never gone. You're always going to have your emails. So that's why we have to have the emails, and the emails are the way we get into, we need to talk to them. So I need to know more about you in your emails. People, they're going to like your clothes and their art, but they also want to know you, right? So they want to know who you are and what's behind your clothes and art and what's your message and what do you stand for. That stuff's super powerful. I mean, I would buy stuff from people maybe if I wasn't even going to wear the damn stuff, but I just like that person. That's really important. And, you know, if you're in like more of a brick and mortar type thing and it's not more like the struggle type stuff, you don't need to email weekly, but you definitely need to have some sort of newsletter going out to your people to know what's new, what's arrived, what are the new products, where are you going to be? All that stuff are super, super important. Everyone needs an email list and a website and the social media too. Cool. Okay, so everybody good? How are we feeling? Everyone give me one word. How are you feeling? Just one word in the chat box. Overwhelmed, that's fine. That's totally normal. Excited, yay. No, it does not need to be your legal name. Nope. Excited, overwhelmed, but inspired, very cool. Erin, do we have a call? I don't think we do. Check into that. Cool. What is ish? What does that mean? Busy, ready to work. I like it. I like it. What does ish mean, Carly? What in the world? Excited, cool, head spinning. Okay, that's good. That's good, right? If your heart's like pounding and you're like, oh my God, like I'm so excited. I don't even know where to begin. That's where I want you. I don't want you coming in January into Business Beyond Baby like with a like knowing what I want you to be like, oh my God, where do we start? Like, what are we doing? That's what I want. I need the action taker. I need the excitement as you come in. Like, I don't want you to have your whole system planned out. That's what I'm here for, right? I'm here to help you do all of that stuff, right? Like, you know, ish, what do I do, right? Okay. I don't really know what that word means, but okay. I'll trust you. You're laughing at me, I know. You're like, what is she talking about? So yeah, Latoria, no, you don't need to be, I know a lot of girls, yeah, with all the teeth bar. A lot of girls do like first and middle name, whatever works for you. I did Sheer Nelson just because it worked, but I also have Mom Beyond Baby. So Sheer Nelson and Mom Beyond Baby go to the same place. That's just because I wanted Mom Beyond Baby as my business name and I really liked it and I felt like kind of attached to it. So I kept both, but a lot of people just do, you know, their name as their business just to help with like legal stuff and trademark and all that stuff. We'll get into all of that, but that's what a lot of people do. That's what I recommend people do. Because no one will take your name away. Okay, cool. Good, good, good. We made it under an hour. Woohoo! Yay. So we have 2 more trainings. How are we already to 2 more? So next week is going to be mindset, which is going to be amazing. I'm super excited about that. So make sure you're there for that. And then the next one's going to be, the when of online business. We're going to talk mindset stuff. And then the last one's going to be the how of online business. We're going to talk a little bit about how, a little bit more like steps and tasks. And then I'm going to give you the rundown on Business Beyond Baby so that you are ready to go on the next day when it opens. So all that stuff coming your way. We still have the Facebook group, which is super great. I love seeing your homework. You can post your homework in there and I'll give you feedback. And that's awesome that you guys are doing it. So I think that's it. I think we're done. We are done with session 3. Awesome stuff. I know it was a lot, but you have me in the Facebook group to ask questions, clarify things as we move through the week. And I'll be on, I'm on every day just to help out and kind of clarify. So thank you for being here, taking time out of your night to come learn and get more into your business. You have homework and get to it. And I will see you all in the Facebook group. Have a great night.